All right, everyone. So by popular request, I am here playing some Space Palpatine Red with a couple of adjustments because you all are so excited about the top 8 from the Space Palpatine Red. We got to try it out. We got to play some games. And, well, I've already played a bunch, which is why I've made some adjustments just based on what I've seen in the meta. And, I can't wait. I cannot wait. We're going to dive right into it. Before we do, big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. We've had some events set. We've been getting in some games and chatting on Discord, which is absolutely amazing. And also, I have a TCG player link. Be sure to use it for all your Star Wars limited card needs. Let's talk about PALP Red and some of the really sweet things going on. So this is essentially the same deck from the Planetary Qualifier. It has the same theme, and that is all space, or really trying to dominate the space arena. In terms of ground units, we have Sabine Wren, pretty much just an additional turn 1 play. Since we need heroism units on turn 1, it's quite important. Since we don't have the ability to swap to villainy on turn 1, Sabine Wren kind of fills in those last couple of slots as a turn 1 play. And then we have Phase 2 Clone Trooper, really important in the deck. And this is something that I've toyed with Palpatine in general. You really want your heroism units to die, so you can start the Palpatine flip back and forth. Playing a villainy card, easy to do. Making your heroism units die, a lot more difficult. So Phase 2 Clone Trooper comes down, kills their ground unit, and dies. Perfect. Gets to start the Palpatine flip, right? And in some cases, you can just use it as a 3 damage hit and then finish it off a unit with Tarkin Town, and that works as well. And then lastly, Heavy Persuader Tank. 2 reasons for this one. One, it is just a big, beefy vehicle that we can hit off of Triple Arc Raid on top of things like Ruthless Raider, which is really, really important. But also, it is an exploit option. And this allows us to forcibly kill our own heroism units, which is really, really important, okay? Now, on top of that ground unit, little tiny bit of ground units, we've got all of our space. All of the space units that you could possibly want. We've got Cartel Turncoats and Wolfpack Escorts and Squadron A-Wings, and we've got Anakin's Interceptors on turn 1. All heroism. On turn 2, we start introducing some villainy cards. We got Red 3s, Millennium Falcons in case we can't swap to villainy, but we also have TIE Phantoms and Elite P-38s, the best, or some of the best, of the villainy options. And then we've got Ozatec Liberated Gunship to kind of ambush things out, Ruthless Raider in the late game as a nice finisher, but also we back that up with even more villainy events, including the No Good To Me Dead and Triple Dark Raid, to help us kind of tempo our opponents out and get some value there. And then on top of that, we got Surprise Strike and Heroic Sacrifice. Surprise Strike just getting in some damage, and Heroic Sacrifice sacrificing those heroism units to start that Palpatine flip back and forth. Now, the reason why we're using Palpatine, well, it kind of goes in with the theme. We're all space, so we just want things that can go ahead and help us with that strategy. And in Palpatine's case, it just heals us, gets us some more cards to help us still continue that strategy, and then in some cases deal a little bit of damage to finish out the game. And in the off chance that you have that Clone Trooper token, it doesn't die immediately, you might be able to use it for a Tarkin Town trigger, which is really, really sweet. So this is a really nice list. I'd say the most important card that we hadn't talked about yet, which is one left, I should say, and it's really, really important, is the Geonosis Patrol Fighter. This thing coming down on turn 2, sacrificing one of our heroism units to start that Palpatine flip while bouncing their unit can be absolutely massive. It's also just a 3/2 space unit, right? Really, really strong. These exploit on top of all the things that we're trying to do really, really kind of jumpstart the deck, and that's all we're trying to get started, is start the chain, start flipping back and forth, get the Clone Trooper, get the heal, get the 2 damage to your base, and all that good stuff to really start the engine. But let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into some games. What better way to start than a Palpatine Red mirror match? We're not going to mulligan this one. This one seems like a pretty nice one. I am going to resource the Phase 2 Clone Trooper. Assuming our opponent's playing basically the same deck, we have the initiative, which means A-Wing is going to be pretty good here. But as I said, I was going to resource this one. I'm not going to resource the Interceptor because I might want to play that next turn, although I could play the Patrol Fighter. I think in this spot, I will resource this Surprise Strike because, well, we want multiple options on turn 2, just in case we aren't able to get to villainy. We don't want to have all of our eggs in the TIE Phantom basket. So A-Wing turn 1, initiative really important because our A-Wing kills their A-Wings and Interceptors and things like that, or even their Cartel Turncoats. So I'm absolutely loving it. And let's go ahead and start off. We got a gunship. I like that. Another patrol fighter. I like that one as well. Let's go ahead and resource this interceptor, because we will go ahead and play that patrol fighter almost assuredly here. And if they Tarkin Town our A-Wing, then we get to go ahead and flip Palpatine and play our TIE Phantom. Not the streamer, but the YouTuber. Let's go ahead and just kill their cartel turncoat. I would like to draw a card. And again, if they Tarkin Town this away, I'm okay with that. We are going to defeat our A-Wing here afterwards anyways, which is going to be pretty nice. They're going to go ahead and draw a card. And we'll see. They passed. Did they not use Palpatine's ability? I can't tell. I mean, they should be flipped on the other side. Not quite sure what happened there. Guess we'll pass. I don't know what happened. Honestly have no idea what happened there in terms of what actions they decided to take. We're going to go ahead and exploit out this guy, bounce the red 3 here. And I guess we'll use... oh, they must have misclicked here. So we're going to go ahead and draw a card and then flip over to Darth Sidious. So a heroism unit did die, which gives us the Darth Sidious on the back. And, well, we'll go ahead and resource this A-Wing. Probably get down to P-38 or potentially a triple dark raid here. We will see what happens. There's a Wolfpack escort. I am going to ignore that. Just hit the base here. P-38 looking pretty good, honestly, just to kill that Wolfpack escort. But maybe I would like to go with the triple dark raid. I think I will. Ooh, Ruthless Raider, huh? Okay, Ruthless Raider looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and deal 2 damage to the red 3 here. That way they cannot start their Palpatine flips. They're going to pass. We're going to go ahead and flip, get a clone trooper. They're going to pass again. We're going to hit their base. No reason to go ahead and hit one of these units and kill it and start their Palpatine flipping back and forth, right? No reason to do that. Okay, we're going to claim initiative, and that's a Ruthless Raider back in our hand. Anakin's Interceptor. We have the gunship. Gunship looks pretty good. We're just going to get an attack in for sure. Get in that attack for 3. Sure, the Wolfpack escort comes out. We have the clone trooper. I think what I want to do here is gunship and kill off the red 3 here. Their heroism unit already died, so it's not really relevant. Here we can go ahead and heroic sacrifice our clone trooper in. They can Tarkin Town. We're going to go ahead and flip. And then we've got a lot of damage on their base. Next turn we can play this Ruthless Raider. And then alongside Palpatine flipping back, we are going to be able to deal 4 damage to their base, just straight up. And I mean, look how many cards we have in hand. It is absolutely crazy. So Ruthless Raider comes down, hit them for 2, flip Palpatine back, or Darth Sidious rather, back to Palpatine, and boom, gives a clone trooper. So now they're going to go ahead and flip Darth Sidious themselves. They can't really, to be honest, because we're going to hit them for 4. But, you know. Okay, they're going to go ahead and flip. We're going to claim initiative. And then we are... Ooh, triple dark raid is pretty nice here. We're not going to be able to get this red 3 down. It doesn't really matter what we do here. We're going to attack their base for... I guess for 4. They're saying thanks for the great game. I don't see them winning this at all. We just had the A-Wing on turn 1, and I think they messed up. I think they misclicked their Palpatine here, which is why they just passed. I think that's what happened in the early game, because they should have been able to flip Palpatine. We should have been both flipping Palpatine back and forth during that game. But that was an interesting one, right? Really weird deck. Like, we have a million cards in hand because we're constantly flipping back and forth. We're getting in damage. We didn't even use Tarkin Town because it wasn't even that important. Very, very weird game. But on to the next one. Into our next one, we get ourselves a PALP red, but set 1 PALP, which is cool. This is a terrible hand. We have no turn 1 play, and we have a lot of turn 1 plays in the deck. This is a lot better. I'm going to go to resource this Probably this Wolfpack Escort and probably this Heroic Sacrifice, considering that we have this Patrol Fighter. There's a good chance that we're going to be able to go ahead and start flipping Palpatine next turn, which I do like. Cartel Turncoat looks pretty nice later on in the game, or early on in the game, but not at this stage. Got ourselves, ooh, interesting. I think what we do is just hit their base for 3. Then go ahead and exploit out, bouncing that punishing one back to their hand. Then we get to go ahead and heal, draw a card, and then we'll pass. Grabbing ourselves that triple dark raid and a second Geonosis Patrol Fighter. I think I'll resource this heavy Persuader tank. And, well, sure, we'll go ahead and smack into that card right there. We'll go ahead and play a Lurking TIE Phantom. And we'll go ahead and flip back yet again, get ourselves a Clone Trooper. We could even defeat both these to play a Patrol Fighter, but I don't really think that that's worth it. Don't really care for that heroism unit at this point. And, well, let's go ahead and hit their base here with 2 points of damage. Do I want to bounce this? I think I do. Or do I want to go triple dark raid? No. I think I would like to bounce this because I would like to, again, be able to flip my Palpatine back. Draw me another card, a no good to me dead. I suppose the Sabine Wren would have actually been quite nice here because we're not going to be able to play anything. Phase 2 Clone Trooper, can go ahead and resource that because I think we're a little bit far away. And here, let's go ahead and play the Ruthless Raider, killing off that Black Sun Starfighter. We got ourselves a Lurking TIE Phantom attack. And I mean, we haven't even used Tarkin Town at all. We're just completely tempoing our opponent out with these Geonosis Patrol Fighters. I mean, what can they do? They can start dealing a damage like maybe the Ruthless Raider and steal it next turn if they're able to ramp. But that doesn't even look that good because they're just so far behind at this point. And they quit. I did not expect that. All right. Pretty clean gameplay, guys. Let's claim the victory and move on to the next, I suppose. Into our next game. This seems like a pretty good hand. I'm not going to mulligan this. I'm going to resource this Liberator gunship and probably this Surprise Strike, because we're going to go double Cartel Turncoat on turn 1. Ideally, them not having a space unit. They're going to be going for their... now there are 2 of them. Whatever they're going to play on turn 2, of course. That's just what happens in this deck. So whatever they play, we're going to go ahead and phase 2 Clone Trooper plus Tarkin Town it away to start the Palpatine flips. I suppose that's also another way, right? That is also another way. What we can do here is... Let's go ahead and... Cartel Turncoat attack. They can exhaust this guy, sure. We're going to go ahead and be able to draw a card. P38, huh? I suppose I should have played the phase 2 Clone Trooper beforehand, because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten that option. That was actually a mistake here, because I was thinking, oh, I'll just draw a card before, but that's the tricky part with Palpatine, right? It's fortunate that we ended up drawing a 3-cost space unit. Granted, we have a lot of them in the deck, but still, definitely don't want to be making that mistake too much here. So no, now there are 2 of them, but our opponent does have the Concord Dawn Interceptors, which is an excellent card against us. But we have that P38, which we're going to deal damage to Grogu, and then we're going to pass. Geonosis Patrol Fighter looks pretty reasonable here. We have no villainy unit or no villainy cards besides the No Good to Me Dead. So I think what we'll do here is probably resource this phase 2 Clone Trooper, and we're going to have to play the No Good to Me Dead to flip back. So let's go ahead and deal 2 to our opponent here. Perilous position looking pretty nice in this slot for my opponent. They're going to be able to use the Palpatine ability. And unfortunately for me, I mean, I'm going to get the No Good to Me Dead down so that I can continue to flip Palpatine. And ideally, we draw some sort of Heroism 2-cost unit. So it's going to be any space unit would be great. A Sabine Wren would be fine as well. Let's go ahead and flip. But Oh, there's Sabine Wren and A-Wing. So we have a 2-cost unit. The reason I said that is because now we can go red 3 plus 2-cost unit, and that looks pretty good for us. What are you going to be playing, opponent? They've got a Plo Koon. Okay, that actually works out for us because we're going to get the red 3 down, and we're also going to get the A-Wing down. And yes, they can use Yoda's ability, but I mean, we're going to go hard into space, and red 3 actually looks pretty nice here. We can also flip Palpatine this turn to draw an additional card. I suppose I should have done that beforehand if I wanted to go ahead and try to find some villainy units that I could play, but I think this is the safer option. Let's go attack for 3 with the Cartel Turncoat. And now look at that. We've got ourselves Millennium Falcon, and we've got ourselves a Ruthless Raider. I think I resourced this Patrol Fighter at this point in the game. Let's see what my opponent has. Ruthless Raider looks great here. They can start exhausting units with Grogu, which is reasonable, right? Let's see. Very curious as to what my opponent wants to do here. Yoda, huh? All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get in with the 4 damage attack here with the A-Wing. Should have probably exhausted the A-Wing to start off with, but, you know, that's okay. And I think I will go ahead and hit the Grogu to prevent the exhaustion every single turn. Jedi Lightsaber. Let's go ahead and flip over to deal another 2 damage to their opponent. Let's see what my opponent's got here. They can flip Yoda this next turn, kill maybe the Ruthless Raider, but we have a pretty nice hand to kind of finish out the game, right? Heroic Sacrifice is really good. Triple Dark Raid was a great draw, especially since we can basically avoid dying this turn, right? Plo Koon can hit for a ton. 9 damage, that puts us at 18. Yoda hits, that's 20. Yoda leader hits, that's 24. But yeah, they can exhaust, sure. I am going to immediately hit with the Clone Trooper because that's the one that can die the easiest. And we'll see what my opponent ends up doing here. Right? You exhaust the Ruthless Raider, but that's okay with me. Suppose we could have Heroic Sacrificed the Ruthless Raider in, so that would have been pretty sweet. They're going to restore 2. Sure thing. Let's go Heroic Sacrifice in for 6. We have the double Millennium Falcon, so I don't really see our opponent being able to win this game at this point. They have to go ahead and flip and try to hit like a 3-resource play. Not that that's super rare, but they have to do it. Okay, they can go ahead and hit that red 3. We're going to go ahead and hit them for 2. Let's see what our opponent has here. Let's go ahead and drop in that Millennium Falcon. And our opponent's got the 7 resources. They're going to claim initiative, but we get to go ahead and oh wait, they're just going to claim initiative. Oh, we just drop our new Millennium Falcon and finish out the game. But I was going to say, if they claim initiative because they have no resource, or they have full resources, then we just swap and Triple Dark Raid, and there's almost no chance that we don't hit a 3 or less space unit to play, or a vehicle unit in general, 3 or less cost vehicle units. So if they had like let's say played a Luke or something, or they played something, then we could have Triple Dark Raided, which would have been pretty nice. It's a little bit tricky. If our opponent passes there, then we claim initiative, right? Because we get to hit, and then we claim initiative. So their only option really is to claim initiative and then hope we don't have anything. I think our opponent played that as best as they could. And they had a pretty reasonable hand, right? Turn 1 Grogu, no turn 2 Plo Koon. Not that that would have really done insane things. They did have the turn 2 Concord Dawn Interceptors, which was pretty good, and the Perilous Position to follow that up, but they just couldn't close out the game quick enough for us to not win. But pretty sweet there. Let's move on to the next one. Moving on to the next one, we've got ourselves a matchup against, well, a PALP Red. Woo! Ooh, who would have guessed? Here I'm going to go to resource this No Good to Me Dead and probably the Surprise Strike for the same reasons as I did in my previous game against Palpatine. Because we want to have a play on turn 2, we cannot afford to keep all these events. And we have the initiative, which means we can go with A-Wing, and our opponent really doesn't want to, because if they do, then they end up in a spot like this, which is, well, I get to go ahead and kill their A-Wing for kind of free. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to keep the Sabine because the Sabine is actually pretty nice in this matchup. They're going to go ahead and flip Palpatine, it looks like. And I think we will do the same. TIE Phantom, not a bad one. We can go P-38 plus Tarkin Town here. Triple Dark Raid, huh? For a Millennium Falcon. Okay. Yeah, I suppose I will just go ahead and play out the Lurking TIE Phantom. And if our opponent wants to go ahead and kill both things, that's totally fine with me. Sure thing. Wolfpack Escort, huh? Seems pretty reasonable here. Gonna resource that Sabine at this point. We're just gonna go P-38. And we're gonna flip Palp. Triple Dark Raid Part 2. So our opponent's really going hard on this Triple Dark Raid. Unfortunately for us, I mean, that was really good for them. In terms of things that could have happened, I mean, that was about as good as it could have been for my opponent, right? Double Triple Dark Raid, getting the Ruthless Raider, I mean, that was pretty awesome. Certainly pretty awesome. Okay, a couple good ones here. I think I'll resource this gunship because I have the Millennium Falcon and this Persuader tank. Double Triple Dark Raid can be pretty nice in this specific matchup because you're going to trade with all those space units. So even though they're not deploying to the board, they get to remove my units. Now, we still have Tarkin Town available to us because we haven't really had an option to use it. They've got a Millennium Falcon here, which looks pretty good. I think here I will just go ahead and hit their base for 2. Okay, there's going to be an A-Wing. I think here we'll just go with a Millennium Falcon. And let's go ahead and hit their A-Wing. And then let's claim initiative. I could have sacrificed all these cards to kind of do some work in that nature. Oh, I will pay 1 here. So they're going to go Ruthless Raider, most likely, which means I would like to go ahead and hit them for 2 here. That's why they didn't pay 1 to keep the Millennium Falcon running. Okay, they're going to attack. Sure. Let's go ahead and attack it with Wolfpack Escort because they're going to play Ruthless Raider probably. Heroism unit died, so we get to go ahead and get down whatever we've got here. Ruthless Raider comes down. Sure. Let's go ahead and attack them for 3. And let's go TIE Phantom. No Good to Me Dead on Ruthless Raider. And then we'll pass. We will pay 1 to keep the Millennium Falcon running. No villainy cards, unfortunately. But that's okay. No Good to Me Dead, huh? Ooh. Got themselves a clone trooper. Let's exploit away this TIE Phantom to kill their clone trooper. And then let's claim initiative here. Ooh, they're going to attack, huh? Interesting. So how much damage they have? 4, 7, 9. So not quite enough. Not quite enough. We can go attack for 6. We'll Tarkin Town away the Millennium Falcon. I should have Tarkin Town first, actually. Millennium Falcon. Tarkin Town first was definitely the choice there. And then we go straight 5 into the base. Wow. Target Towning the Millennium Falcon would have been the play, I think, to make first. The only tricky part about that, for some reason I did not see the 3 damage on the Millennium Falcon, is that they would have been able to flip their Palpatine back, which is pretty sweet. We had no Triple Dark Raids, which is one of the key cards, and we had no Ruthless Raiders, which is pretty sweet, but the Heavy Persuader tank doing some work, got to get rid of their heroism units. We did deploy 2 villainy cards when we were flipped to villainy that turn, so we didn't actually save any for the next turn, but I think it was necessary to stall out enough damage. So again, lots of little intricate plays, and when you're fighting another Palpatine, it gets really complicated because you have to think about your own heroism units being dead, your villainy cards in hand, which ones to keep, which ones to resource, and then your opponent's the same, right? Okay, if I kill this, are they going to be able to flip? Are they going to be able to do this? Are they going to be able to do that? Should I kill this now? Should I wait? Etc., etc., etc. And it can be a little bit tricky. So didn't actually get use any of our Tarkin Town that game. Most of the situations where them triple dark rating, it's going to be bounced to their hand anyways, or we were just able to get kind of free value trades like A-wing into A-wing is a pretty straightforward play. So, well, pretty good one. On to the next. Next one up, we've got ourselves a match against Kira Green, and this seems like a pretty weak hand. I'm going to go on a mulligan this one. Unfortunately, drawing into, well, kind of another weak hand. I really like the patrol fighters, but I like the heroic sacrifice as well. They're going to start with an Inferno 4, which is reasonable. I actually don't mind that. We're going to go Wolfpack Escort, and unfortunately, we don't have another 2 resource play. Would have loved to see a Cartel Turncoat here, but that's not going to be the case. Let's go ahead and pass and got ourselves an Anakin's Interceptor. Okay. If our Wolfpack Escort dies, that's totally fine. Let's see if they decide to go ahead and put a shield token on their Inferno 4. I don't think that they should, because it ends up the exact same way. We're going to go to resource that no good to me dead here since, well, it's no good to me. Let's go red 3. They probably have a power of the dark side. Resupply, huh? Okay. Let's go ahead and draw a card. And the question is, do I want to Tarkin Town away Inferno 4 here? And I think I do. I think I just want to get rid of it. Our opponent's not going to have a ton of space units. So I think just defeating that immediately is going to be really, really high value. And unfortunately here, we resourced that no good to me dead, and we drew 0 additional heroism or villainy cards, which puts us in a really awkward spot where we kind of have to play these overcost units in A-wings and things like that. So let's see if they decide to flip Kira. Nope, we're going to play an A-wing for 4 resources and still no villainy card. So sometimes this happens where you just don't draw the correct aspects at the correct times. And that's going to be GG. We cannot win at that point. They're going to go ahead and get 2 experience on their Gideon. And, well, sometimes that happens. Now, I couldn't have not resourced that no good to me dead. But if I'm no good to me deading their ground units and not deploying to the board, sure, I would have gotten the A-wing down, and then I would have been on the heroism side, so I might have been able to deploy 2 cards, but they still would have gone with the overwhelming barrage on that turn. It would have wiped my whole board anyways. And so it's like, that was just it's a tough matchup for sure. And that's one of the problems with Palpatine, right? Is if you end up in a situation like that where, because the deck is so built around this getting going of the synergy, if you don't draw the right cards, it can look pretty awful. And let's move on to the next. In our next matchup, and we got ourselves a pretty nice one. I'm going to resource this P38, and either the Sabine or the A-wing. I think I'm going to resource this Sabine because I just want to go all space. Keep 2 opposite aspect turn 2 plays. But I have a feeling this TIE Phantom is going to be really good against the PALP blue deck. So let's go A-wing to start us off. And we'll see what my opponent is playing over there. They got the Queel here. So let's go ahead and claim initiative. Got ourselves another TIE Phantom and a Ruthless Raider. Let's go and resource this Surprise Strike. And we'll see what my opponent's going to be playing here. We might just go with that Millennium Falcon. Opponent doesn't actually have any way to kill our A-Wing right now in terms of straight up units, although Queel is pretty strong in their deck, so I wouldn't mind getting rid of that one if we could. Let's go and attack in with the A-Wing, play out the Millennium Falcon, and, oh, all right. Well, let's hit the Concord Dawn Interceptors for 3 here. They're going to pass. Now we're going to claim initiative, and, do we want to pay 1 here? I don't know. I think it's a yes, actually. And we'll resource a Wolfpack Escort. And we will go ahead and trade here, because I would like to get this TIE Phantom down. Concord Dawn Interceptor is absolutely amazing card here, and our opponent had it on turn 2, which is kind of exactly where you want to be. But we just decided to go ahead and get the value while we could, right? What did they reveal? Vigilance to hand. Okay, so Vigilance is in their hand. We're going to go ahead and drop in this Lurking TIE Phantom after we swap over. Ooh, another Restorer, right? That's pretty good for them. They're going to go ahead and flip. We're going to go to Lurking TIE Phantom down. Now things like Power of the Dark Side are not nearly as good. Heavy Persuader tank, huh? Okay, could do some work. Wolfpack Escort is pretty bad here, I think. Perilous position here. Let's go with Lurking TIE Phantom again. Again, we just don't want to have any sort of option that our opponent can play like Power of the Dark Side or things like that. We're going to go get a Clone Trooper down. Sure. They can go ahead and kill it, but we're going to Tarkin Town away that Yoda. So Tarkin Town away the Yoda. We're going to play a Anakin's Interceptor, and then we're going to pass. Got ourselves a No Good To Me Dead, a Wolfpack Escort. I'm probably going to be exploiting out this guy, and then probably playing this Wolfpack Escort. So I'm going to resource this red 3, is my guess. Let's go ahead and attack in with the A-Wing. This Queel has drawn so many cards. They have returned another Vigilance to their hand. That can be a little bit tricky. So they got 2 Vigilances in hand. They have a million cards in hand. And it's going to get very, very tricky here at the end of the game. They've got a Client, huh? All right, let's attack with the Interceptor. And they're going to play the Client so they can flip. Makes sense. Let's go ahead and hit their base for 4. We're going to play a Wolfpack Escort, a Heavy Persuader tank. I will go ahead and defeat that Wolfpack Escort to kill off that clone, and then we'll flip over our PALP, so then we can have that Dark Side, Darth Sidious. Resource a Phase 2 Clone Trooper, because now we can go No Good To Me Dead, Anakin's Interceptor, and Red 3 on the same turn if we want to. We already have an Interceptor, so that's probably not going to be the plan, but I suppose we will have to go ahead and see. They're going to go ahead and put a bounty on the Lurking TIE Phantom, which means we're going to attack with it immediately, because they're probably going to put Perilous Position on the Lurking TIE Phantom. Looks like they got themselves a Luke Skywalker. So let's go ahead and attack in to their base for 6. They're going to hit our Heavy Persuader tank, huh? Okay, that makes sense. Hit them for 3. Ooh, I should have played Red 3 first, actually. That was a mistake, because we're going to go No Good To Me Dead on Luke. We're going to flip this over, get a Clone Trooper, and then pass. The reason I should have done that differently is because I would have gotten additional damage on their base, and they could have a Super Laser Blast here. Just remember that, right? Super Laser Blast could be very, very possible. Do they have the Super Laser Blast is the question. No bounty. They're going to attack probably into the Heavy Persuader tank is my guess, right? Just get that Restore 3 going. What do you got, opponent? No Super Laser Blast, potentially. They're going to bounty with the Client on Anakin's Interceptor. So they're going to try to heal. Oh, they can't attack with Luke because I know Good To Me Dead. Yeah, we're going to attack with that first. If they have the Super Laser Blast, it works out poorly for us. And they do. So that ended up working out a little bit poorly for us. But that's okay, because we're going to go A-Wing. They're going to be able to create a Clone Trooper here. And we're going to go Ruthless Raider to kill it and hit them for 2. So we're going to go flip, and then we're going to play Ruthless Raider again. Then we're going to pass. And if they have another Super Laser Blast, well, we have the Triple Dark Raid here, which is going to be pretty nice as well. And between the 2 damage to the base, plus the 2 damage from Darth Sidious and the Triple Dark Raid, there's a good chance that we'll be able to win if they have a second Super Laser Blast. A little bit of a mind game that last turn, right? I could have attacked with the Heavy Persuader tank after they put the bounty on the Interceptor, if I thought that they had the Super Laser Blast, but, well... Ooh, they have an Avenger here, huh? We'll defeat the Ruthless Raider, because that's going to end up giving us more damage. Ooh, in the long run. Hold on. Wait. There we go. Surprise strike into their base for 6. Could have won that in a lot of ways. We could have attacked Flip PALP after we played Triple Dark Raid, and unless we missed Triple Dark Raid, which is next to impossible, then we would have won, right? Didn't really matter any way that we went about it, but pretty sweet. Yoda doing a lot of restoring. Definitely a cool little mind game with the Super Laser Blast. I like what my opponent did there. They put the bounty on the Interceptor, and if we ended up attacking with it, they had essentially gained 3 additional life off of that, because they're going to go Super Laser Blast. If I attack with the Heavy Persuader tank, they're down -1 life, but that is a mind game. Really, really sweet play from my opponent, I'll have to say. But yeah, we ended up getting there. Just good space units, I suppose. Lurking TIE Phantom coming in clutch. And I guess we'll finish it off with a little bit of a fun one. We've got ourselves a matchup against Newt Green. I'm going to go to mulligan this. Not a great hand, and this one's not great either. It is okay. I'm going to go ahead and resource probably this Ruthless Raider, to be honest, because I have the Triple Dark Raid. And just start off with an Anakin's Interceptor and see what my opponent has here. They've got a Poggle. Okay, so now we know exactly what we want to do, because we're just going to defeat our own Interceptor to get rid of that Poggle. Can't have Poggle on the battlefield on the Newt deck. Just going to give them too much exploit options. We're just going to go ahead and bounce that Poggle. And get started with our back and forth flipping. They're going to go ahead and claim initiative. We got ourselves a Lurking TIE Phantom, which I do like. I don't think Gunship is going to be that great in this matchup, so I'm going to go and resource that one. Let's see what they've got here. Would very much like to get this TIE Phantom down. Ooh. TIE Vanguard, huh? Interesting. So now... I think we attack the base and we go Triple Dark Raid. I'm changing my mind. Triple Dark Raid, P38, huh? Yeah, I like P38. We're going to deal 1 damage to this. Go ahead and attack. Flip this guy. And then we'll be able to pass. Millennium Falcon, Wolfpack Escort, both pretty solid. P38, double heavy Persuader tank's probably not going to be that good. So let's go to resource one of them. I would be interested in just hitting this Poggle, just so that I can go ahead and... interesting. Okay. Let's hit the Poggle. Because I will Tarkin Town him away, and then I will flip Palpatine. Salacious Crumb, huh? Okay. Salacious Crumb coming down. I like it. So now I can flip this over and play like a TIE Phantom. I think I'm going to go Wolfpack Escort, flip this over and play a TIE Phantom afterwards. So flip. Play a TIE Phantom, and then pass. Lots of cheap cards. Triple Dark Raid, Ruthless Raiders, those are what I'm really looking for here. They haven't really done a whole lot to us. Kraken, huh? Okay, that's a lot of units on the battlefield, huh? Let's go ahead and Do I want a P38? I suppose I will just P38 away one of the battle droid tokens since, well, doesn't actually do a whole lot. Salacious Crumb cannot hit space units, so if they were to bounce it, they would have to kill their own battle droid. Little bit of a mistake from our opponent. Attack with a TIE Phantom for 4. Attack with a Wolfpack Escort for 2. Flip over the PALP. Deal another 2. Put in the Millennium Falcon. Hit for another 3. And then we'll pass. We will pay 1 to keep the Millennium Falcon running. Triple Dark Raid was a pretty nice draw since we get to go Heroic Sacrifice on this Wolfpack Escort, then Triple Dark Raid, ideally for like a Ruthless Raider here, which would be awesome. And if we do hit, if we resource here, we're up to 6, so we Heroic Sacrifice down to 5, and then we Ruthless Raider, let's say we grab that, we are down to 1 resource, so we couldn't Surprise Strike at that point. But I don't know what our opponent could really do here. Let's go ahead and get rid of probably the Heavy Persuader tank. Our opponent just has so many ground units, it's probably just going to die and not actually get us any damage. So I think what we'll do is Heroic Sacrifice in for 4. Drew a second Surprise Strike. Okay, let's go. I think we just go for the Surprise Strike plan, to be honest. Let's just attack in for 7. And then we finish out the game. No exploiting from our opponent in this game. But hey, that's the game. And that one was a pretty straightforward one. Got some value out of Tarkin Town. The P38 off Triple Dark Raid was excellent on that TIE Vanguard. Of course, I would have just killed the TIE Vanguard period to keep my unit alive anyways. But it was a nice little game of flipping back and forth. And I mean, guys, Palpatine doing some work for sure. Let's talk about the deck. So what did we learn with Palpatine Red? Well, honestly, it's a space deck. And you get aggressive. You get to play all the good space units. Putting Millennium Falcon in the same deck as Triple Dark Raid is really, really interesting. And the hidden gem of this deck is truly that Patrol Fighter. You really want to be starting to flip your Palpatine as early as like turn 2. If you can do it turn 1, great. Like if you're playing against Django and your opponent goes ISB Agent, deal 1 damage to your space unit, and they target down in a way, and you're able to kind of use the Palpatine flip to start then, great. But if you can't, Patrol Fightering away your own unit to bounce their unit is good. Is still good. And that's really, really key with the deck. But yeah, playing TIE Phantoms against the control decks is really awesome. Being able to get some powerful threats off Triple Dark Raid is pretty sweet. And then constantly just having your opponent have to deal with extra HP that you're gaining, usually around 4 to 6 per game, as well as additional 4 to 6 damage to their base. It's kind of tough to deal with, right? Because if you're flipping at least 3 times per side, you've gotten 6 HP and 6 damage to their base, which is not unreasonable, right? More than often, you're going to get like 6 HP healed and 4 damage dealt to their base. The only thing about this deck is that it is very swingy, right? We don't have actually that many villainy cards in the deck. We have P38s, we got TIE Phantoms, we have No Good To Me Deads, and we have Triple Dark Raid. So we have 12 total. You kind of want to hold on to those if you can, because you want to be able to flip back. And the reason why we're playing so many heroism units is because it's hard to start the chain. And so you really need early heroism units. And if you don't get that flip early, you need something to play, which is why we have a lot of 3 resource plays in heroism. Millennium Falcon, Red 3, alongside the Phase 2 Clone Trooper. But overall, the deck performed pretty well. And I think it has some really awesome legs. Like, I think there is some really, really big potential here. Because you don't care about the ground at all, the leader flip is less impactful than otherwise it would be. I think in control games, one of the problems with Palpatine Blue, for example, is that the leader flip actually gives you a lot of presence on board. Like Bosk Blue deploying Bosk and killing something really catches you up. Whereas if you're fighting against like a Sabine or you're fighting against, whatever more aggro deck and you don't have that leader flip, it can be pretty brutal. Granted, if there are a lot of decks like Django out there where there's a lot of space strategies, perhaps that doesn't even matter. And perhaps just the healing and Clone Trooper token is worthwhile. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I had a lot of fun with this deck. I like Palpatine. It's a lot of thinking, and I'm sure I played too fast for some of these games where I made a bunch of mistakes. This is one of those decks where you do want to take your time a lot more than I definitely did and think about all the potential outcomes, especially when you're in a Palpatine mirror, because my goodness, does that get complicated. I'll see you all for the next one.